Good morning, seventh graders. So I am going to go over the most missed problems that you guys had on the test. So this is how you will be doing your corrections this year. First thing I want to do is go over the directions. So first thing, you guys will get a copy of these slides for each of you. So you'll be able to input the information and then turn it in through Google Classroom. Also, I will be looking to see if you put the correct answers in on the Edpuzzle video that you're watching right now. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to have to sign into Edpuzzle using Google. The assignment is going to be Math 7, Unit 1, Test Corrections. You're going to watch the Edpuzzle video and complete the notes on the left for each review problem. Okay. When the video pauses, complete the practice problem on the right and then submit/check your answers. Practice problem answer must be correct. All notes and work must be shown to raise your current test grade. I know I have a couple of typos. I will fix that for you guys when you get this page. You need to play, if you need to play the Edpuzzle video again, please email me with your name and your class period and then ask me to reset the video. I won't reset it unless you email and you ask me. Okay? This slide will be included in all the slides that you get, so you'll have these directions. The next page says work page. So this is where you will submit a picture of your work. You could put one picture of the page. You could put 4 different pictures for each of the practice problems that you do and the problems that we do together. You can take a picture of each one and put them on here. It's up to you. Just make sure that they're able to be seen. So if they are blurry, I will ask you to fix it and resubmit it. Okay, so just make sure that your pictures are nice and clear. Okay, so let's actually get into the problems. So if you notice on the left is going to be the test question that was missed. On the right is the practice problem that you guys are going to try. Okay, so let's go over this one. So this was number 3 on your test. It says select all values equal to -7/9. Okay, so if we look at this, we're going to look at each of those. So let's look at A to start. So A says -7/-9. So if we remember, a negative over a negative, because this is a division problem, will equal a positive. So this is actually let me change color. The negatives cancel out, okay? So you actually get that -7/-9 is actually +7/+9 if we simplify it. But we're looking for an answer that is negative. So A, let's see, is not an answer. Okay? So let's look at the next one. So let's look at B. So B is the opposite of -7/-9. Okay? We already did the problem that is in the parentheses. Okay? So we already know that -7/-9 is a +7/9. Okay? So those cancel out. So then we still have the negative on the outside of the parentheses, and we have 7/9. So this negative out front is talking about the opposite of whatever's in the parentheses. And in this case, it's a positive 7 over 9. So that will equal negative 7 over 9. Hey, wait, that's the answer we're looking for. So I'm going to use the green again. B is one of our answers. But we got to remember that it says select all. That is a very important term there. All. So that means there is more than one correct answer. There's a minimum of 2 correct answers. So let's look at C. So C is negative 7 over 9, and it's the opposite. You've got to remember that if there is only one negative in the fraction is negative. So the opposite of a negative 7 over a positive 9 would be a positive 7 over a positive 9. So we're not looking for a positive 7 over 9. So C is not one of our answers. Okay, let's look at D. Oops, wrong color. Let's go back. Okay, luckily it erases really, really quickly. Okay, so let's look at D. D says 7 over negative 9. Remember, if one of them is negative, that means the whole fraction is negative. In this case, one of them is negative, so the whole fraction is a negative 7 over 9. Wait, that's our answer we're looking for. So here we have another correct answer. Remember, there are 2 answers. Could there be 3? Yes. So let's check out that last one. So let's check out letter E. So now we have the opposite of 7 over negative 9. Okay, so we know that if one of them is negative, this whole thing inside the parentheses is negative. But they want the opposite of a negative. So that means that it would make it a positive 7 over 9, because the opposite of a negative 7 over 9 is positive 7 over 9. So E is not our answer. Okay, so our answers for this problem would be, I'm going to do it in purple so we can see it. It stands out. So our answers are D and B. Okay, so now what I would like you to do is do the practice problem on the right. It is very similar to the one that we just did. And please, when you're done, input your answer and then go on to the next practice problem. Okay, so now that you've done the first practice problem, we're going to go, oops, I didn't want to do that, so let's erase. Don't want a purple line. So let's go to the next problem. So the next problem was problem number 4 on your test. So it says, using the number line below, determine which of the following expressions are equal to 16. Select all that apply. Okay, so again, there's that important word. Well, actually, 2 words. Select all. So that means I'm going to have more than one correct answer. I can solve these just by doing the math, or I can use the number line. The number line is there in case you need to use it. Okay, so let's look at each one of these. So let's start with A. A says negative 8 minus 8. So in this case, I owe $8 and then I owe another $8. So when they're both negative, we add them together and keep the sign. So negative 8 and negative 8 is negative 16. The answer that they want us to find is a positive 16. So this is a negative 16, so we would say, no, that isn't an answer. Okay, let's look at B. B says negative 4 minus 12. Again, both of our terms are negative, so we add them together. Negative 4 plus a negative 12. So I borrowed $4, I owe, and I borrowed another 12. Now I owe you, so they're both going to be, the answer is going to be negative. I owe you $16. So it's a negative 16. So again, we're looking for a positive 16. So B is not our answer. Okay, so C says negative 3 minus a negative 13. So in this problem, we have negative 3, and then we have minus a negative 13. So what this middle negative is saying is the opposite of negative 13, which the negative and the negative make it a positive 13. So 13, if I have 13 and I take away 3, I have 10. We're looking for positive 16. So again, not our answer. We will get an answer soon. Okay? There's only so many more. We only have 3 more. So let's look at D. So D says negative 2 minus negative 18. So just like the problem above, we have this minus a negative 18. So remember, those two negatives together make it a positive. Okay? So now we have 18 minus 2, which is positive 16. Hey, we found an answer. So D is one of our answers. Still got 2 more to go. Let's see what happens. So I know I at least have to have 1 more correct answer because it said select all. So there's at least 2 answers. So E says 2 minus a negative 14. So again, we have the negative and the negative. We have a positive 2 minus a negative. Remember when we had those 2 negatives, it makes it a positive. So 2 plus 14, hey, it's positive 16. So here's our second answer. We could have 3, so let's look at F. We don't want to forget F. We don't want to forget the last problem where there could be 3 answers, okay? So F says 10 minus a negative 6. Again, we have that negative, double negative. When we have that double negative, remember, it makes it a positive, but that is only when they're right next to each other, like these problems. So D, E, and F are. So now we have 10 plus 6, which again is 16. So we have 3 answers. So we have D, E, and F that are our answers. So now what you guys need to do is there a problem right next to it for you guys to try that is almost exactly like the problem we just did. So take your time now and work on that. Select your answers, and then you can move on to the next problem. Okay, so now we're going to move on to our third example. We only have 4 problems that you guys are going to do. So 2 more to go. So if we look at this, it says a vertical number line below represents a diving board and a pool. The diving board is 10 feet high. So that's where A is. So what am I going to do? Let's draw a diving board. So I'm going to draw a line at 10. That's my diving board. Okay? So the pool is 6 feet deep. So because there's the pool, the water, I got to get a color for my water. Okay, so we'll take that. So let's find, I want to go, nope, that's not what I want to do. So come on. Nope, sorry you guys. I'm having technical difficulties. Nope. Oh, there we go. So it says the pool water. So at 0 feet, the pool is our 0 line. That is, you could be above the water, you can be below the water. So our water is right there. So at C. Okay, let me put these back in. So this was A, this was C, and then all below that is the water where B is. So let's see what happens. So Enrique stands on the diving board. So he stands here at point A on the number line. He jumps off the diving board and goes into the water until he hits point B, and then he comes back up again. Okay, after a few seconds, right? So determine whether each statement below is true or false. Select true or false for each statement. So the first statement, the equation, the absolute value of 10, so 10 is where he started, minus a -5 because he went down below 5 feet, equals 15. So he traveled 10 feet above the water, and then he traveled 4 feet below, he traveled 5 feet below the water. Is that true? Yes, because he went underwater, but then that's where he stopped. He stopped 5 feet below the surface. So the absolute value is 15 feet because that's how much he traveled. Even though he traveled below the water, he still traveled 15 feet. That is true. Okay? So we'd say true on that one. It's just like if I run 5 feet to the right and then I run back 5 feet to the left, I traveled a full 10 feet, even though I ended up back where I was. So even though I may have gone backwards, I still traveled that amount of distance. So let's see. Enrique is underwater at point B. Well, point B is down at the bottom. And we said that C is the water line. So yes, he is below the water at point B. So that would be true. Last thing, the change in elevation for Enrique from point B to point C is represented by the equation -5 minus 0. So if he goes from point B, he would be moving upward. So is he moving a negative distance? No, because he can't move a negative distance. He either moves 5 feet up or he moves 5 feet down. He's still moving 5 feet. So in this case, the answer is false for the last one. Okay, so now on the right-hand side, try this other problem, and please input your answer on the Edpuzzle video. Okay, now we're going to go on to the last problem. So number 13 was the last one that you guys had a little bit of struggle with. So number 13 says rational numbers A and C are plotted on the number line below. So A is to the left of 0, which means it's a negative. And C is to the right of 0, and it's at +2. So let's look at this. What is the value of A? So each one is worth 1. So A is equal to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, -6. C is equal to +2. So let's plug these in and see what we get for A. Let's see which one is true. So the key word in this is true. We want to know what's true. So you always have to look to see if it's asking true or false on this. So let's look at this. So it says the value of A minus C is positive. So let's do that. A, so -6 minus 2 is, so negative plus and another negative will be still negative. Remember, we're subtracting. So I borrowed $6. I borrowed another 2. I owe you $8. Is that positive? It isn't. So A is not true. So this was, let me put the letter next to it. This is A. So that was not true. A is not true. So let's look at B. B says that the opposite of A, so the opposite of -6 minus 2 is positive. So the opposite of -6 is +6. Minus 2 equals 4. Is 4 positive? Yes, we can stop there. That is the correct answer because we're only looking for one correct answer because it doesn't say select all that apply. It just says select. Or it just says based on it which statement is true. And it says statement, so that means only one. So this is your last example for you guys to try on your own. Please put in your answer and then you are finished with your Edpuzzle. So complete the last question and then you need to turn in your work and turn it in on Google Classroom. If you have any questions, please let me know.